So my two favorite words are definitely welcome back. I'm so thrilled to be here with Indigo Living. We are back. Now I've upgraded my set. The couch is gone and I've got this beautiful fancy table and of course 2 chairs. And of course I have an incredible guest to share her story. The platform of Indigo Living's On the Couch series is really to share stories of entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and of course, female leaders. And I hope their stories will not only inspire you, but inspire me as well. Today, I'm so pleased to not only welcome my friend, but the definite definition of girl boss. Please welcome founder and Vice-Chairperson of Apparel Group, Sima Ved. Sima, thank you so much for being here and kicking off our summer program.
I'm so happy and thank you for having me.
So I think today there's going to be so many lessons learned, not only about leadership, but of course, the pandemic that we've just have experienced and experiencing, but really sharing your story because you are such a mentor to so many people, including myself. And I really wanted to share your story.
Rose.
So let's start from the beginning. Actually, before we start from the beginning, let's just get a little bit impressive here. Let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about numbers because these are incredible numbers here. 14 countries, 75 brands, everything from F&B, clothing, athletic wear, I mean, beauty
shoes
as well, shoes. You are the queen of shoes as well. Then we're going on to numbers of employees. I mean, just over 16,000 employees, which is an incredible number.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, which is amazing. And then we're talking about stores. We have just under 1,800 stores.
Yes.
This is an incredible achievement, and you've truly made your mark in the Middle East and globally.
Thank you. Thank you.
She is a force to be reckoned with. Now let's start your story because you were born in
Africa. So I was born in Africa, and I think I left when I was a mere toddler and came to Dubai. My father brought us, and he was working for someone. And then it was almost like 8 or 9 years later that he started his own company. So I kind of saw the whole self-made journey. I saw my father work weekends. I saw him work all odd hours of the day, even sometimes the nights, to open stores. And I also saw him support his father with getting 6 of his sisters married back home. And I remember him telling me fondly, like, every time his father sent him a request to send him half a salary, my father sent 100% and some more. So, you know, I just grew up with that whole family, and family is number one, and also hard work, the value of a strong work ethic.
So I wanted to highlight, I mean, your father is just incredible. I mean, I need to get him on the show. I know this is really trying to target females, but your father is just a wealth of information and lessons, and he's just an incredible man.
He still is.
And I wanted to highlight that you really did come to the Middle East and Dubai at such an early time when
we did.
The roads had dirt roads. There weren't really
sand everywhere. Trade Center was the tallest building.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it looks like a tiny little midget. Yeah. So yeah, Trade Center, World Trade Center.
And he saw the opportunity, which I thought was amazing. And I think that's probably that kind of first lesson of entrepreneurs is that they are real risk takers, and you can see that in your entire family. Actually, you guys are all entrepreneurs.
I think my dad just very early on taught all of us that you do not take no. If you're compelling enough and if you have solid reasoning and arguments, you will get a yes. So I think anytime anybody put an obstacle in front of his success, he would just turn around and say, you know, let me figure out a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
You know, back in the days when electricity would take you 90 days to get, he would go into the Sheikh's Majlis and try and get them to give it to him earlier, or even a landline would take would take 90 days to get. So, you know, things like that. But yeah, I mean, I grew up with that whole mindset. And the country we live in, the city we live in, nothing is impossible.
Exactly.
And it's the est of everything. The biggest, the tallest, the grandest, everything is est. So you can't live in this city and not be inspired and aspire to do what they're doing.
When did you think that entrepreneur bug kicked in for you? Because I mean, it's in your family. Your brother is an incredible entrepreneur. Your father is the king of retail. When was that moment? Was it after university, or did you kind of already have that bug
Way before, definitely. I think I remember being, I think I was 10 or 11 years old when my dad's newspaper or magazine article came out, and I was like I took it to school. I was so proud and showing it to all my friends. And I think subconsciously I kind of realized that that's what I want to do and that's who I want to be. I want to also be in newspapers, in magazines. That's why I have no issue with limelight. I somehow love it. I thrive on it. But yeah, I think...
But well deserved. I'd like to just put a caveat to that, is that it's well deserved. And I know we're going to go into conversation, but I'm just trying to kind of pick up these lessons learned that along the way, being an entrepreneur takes responsibility. So it's risk,
huge.
Responsibility, and really kind of setting a tone of what your brand ethos is and your personal value system is.
Yeah, and it also takes commitment, right? Because you know, I do have a short attention span. However, you need to have enough commitment to say, okay, I'm going to start this project and I'm going to see it through. Because it's very easy to just give up and say, okay, no, I don't think it's going my way. Let me try something else. Like, you know, in our success stories, it's not that we didn't have any failures. We had a few brands that we had to either give up or got taken away, or we let go because we just lost so much money, or even business models where we lost money. So it's not a situation where it's only success. There are failures as well. And I think the worst thing anyone could do is like stress on those failures or focus on those failures and not pick up and start again. So that's another lesson I definitely think is worth learning.
So let's go way back. You and your husband partner up together, which already is pretty incredible to work with your partner. So you guys decide to set up Apparel Group. What was it like to start the first brand of Apparel Group?
So actually, my husband was still working for his family business at that time, and I'd just gotten married, and I was working before I got married, so I didn't want to sit at home after, of course. And I sub-franchised a brand from my father, Bossini. And I was working the store, and Nilesh came and joined me after. But yeah, that store taught us so much, from realizing how much it was, how hard it was to stand in the store till 3 a.m. sometimes when it was sale, folding t-shirts, getting the store ready back in time for 9 a.m. opening. Even just how to, in fact, that's where I learned to implement this incentive scheme for our employees. And literally, Rosemin, I'm not joking, one of the guys, I remember his salary was like 700 dirhams way back then, and he was making bonuses of 4,000 dirhams a month.
Amazing.
So he was making like, I don't know, 6 times his salary just in bonuses. And that made a lot of people realize that we do reward hard work, and we believe in loyalty and hard work and all of that. And that's how we ended up getting a lot of people who wanted to join us, great talent that came along. And today I can tell you, one of those guys, one of those employees right at the beginning, he now today runs and owns a homegrown brand for us called R&B. And he's of course making, I don't even want to go into the figures, but the fact that he stuck it out with us for the last 26 years, it's shown fruit.
Well, I think it's a true testament of Apparel Group as a company culture. If you have employees that stay on, that are not only being incentivized, but there is a growth factor just on a human resource point of view. And I know that's your area of specialties. So I think that's a testament of the brand itself. But for you guys folding shirts and staying on till 3 a.m. before the shop opens, and I think a lot of people don't realize retail is not just the shop floor. It is in the warehouse, it is logistics. I mean, there's so many different points of supply chain till it actually gets to the customer.
I mean, I have to thank my dad for this, right? Because when I came back from university, he put me on the floor in the old Lamsi, if people remember, that was there near Al Nasser Club. No, the old one, before this one. And I remember I had to go to the warehouse, and I remember one image of myself climbing over these cartons that we had received from our vendors, and I was counting the number of pieces in it, and I had to tally them according to the export documents or the POs, the purchase orders. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I thank him today, because had he not taught me those lessons, I wouldn't know how to do what I do, and I wouldn't know how to tell people that, listen, don't try to dupe me. I know exactly what I'm talking about because I've been there, done that.
Course.
So you know, when you talk about, oh, you know, we can't stand for 8 hours or 10 hours, been there, done that. So yes, I appreciate, you know, that it is hard, and of course it is hard. But then when you see people like, you know, the Kamlesh, like, who runs R&B for us, you understand what it's all about. You know,
it's a learning curve.
Yeah, definitely.
And the retail and clothing and F&B, I mean, it's a huge industry. And there's a job for everyone. There is merchandising, buying, labeling, branding, marketing. I mean, it's a huge, huge industry in itself.
16,000 employees. So our biggest, I think, segment is the warehouse staff, which are, you know, we actually have DCs in Dubai and in Saudi now. So running your own distribution center, even our 6th Street office has its own little warehouse. So it's just like, you do learn that, okay, you have these different tiers of employees and you need to offer a growth plan for all of them. So like, our GMs join us and stay with us because of the learning opportunities we offer. A lot of our GMs have been to Harvard. They've done the full courses for 3 years, or for like 3 weeks in 3 years. Like, they've done the OPM, they've done the Entrepreneurs one, the President's one. We do offer these opportunities. Even when we go for seminars and we think a professor is phenomenal, like we had this one professor from HBS called Frances Fry. Her expertise is customer service. You know, customer service and customer excellence, service excellence. So she came down and did a whole seminar. We actually took an auditorium and had 1,500 store managers from around the region come in, fly in, just to listen to her. So we believe that people need to grow and grow with us, because otherwise, you know, okay, there is a basic salary and there's an incentive, but what else can you offer? Yeah.
So how would you describe working with your husband as a company? Because you have a pretty big title there. It is Vice-Chairwoman. I know the answer because he told me the other day, but I want you to say it.
You know what? He is honestly, he's a chairman, but he is phenomenal.
Yes,
like,
he is.
Like the company wouldn't be where it's at without him.
Yeah.
So even though
I'm waiting for you to say his line that he's the head.
Yes, and I'm the heart. Yes,
Yeah.
that we say that often enough. But it's just that, honestly, he wouldn't. The company wouldn't be where it is without him, and he is the head of the company. I am not useless at numbers. I just don't like them, you know, and I really just don't like them.
You always need a balance of
Yes.
the human touch to understand employees, and there has to be the business side as well. Because if it doesn't make sense, you're not going to excel.
And I think what you were saying, you know, to your point about lessons learned, that's one of the biggest things I always tell everyone, that assess your own capabilities, understand your strengths and your weaknesses, and then make sure you counter or you partner with someone who has the rest of it. Because like, I can be great at creatives, I can be great at people, I can be great at all of that. But if I'm not great at numbers and I don't know how to deal with them, I do need someone who is strong in them. And
you can actually apply this lessons in marriage, by the way, and right?
Yeah,
because I just think that you
like,
need
balance
to
it out.
You need to know what your strengths are and weaknesses for you to have like a really good partnership.
True. Like, he loves to stay home, I like to go out. We compromise. So he sleeps on the couch and I watch TV till 1 So I mean, you compromise. So I think it's definitely worth making sure you partner with someone who supplements you and complements you, as you know.
Well, let's take about, so HR is your specialty and marketing is yours.
Yes.
And so is there a moment where you start recognizing key employees and you want to help them and I don't want to say fast track, but really kind of grow and build on their leadership skills?
So we are data driven, and Nilesh is extremely conscious about being data driven. So when he sees a GM or a brand showing great promise and good numbers, that's when he wants to encourage the GM to either take on more brands. So we have GMs, general managers, who actually look after several brands, not just one. Each one has its own brand team, but they supervise all of it. So he actually makes it a point to encourage and do all of that and share the learning opportunities with them. Personally, I'm on a mandate right now to promote and bring to light more of the female employees that we have. I just think it's not that they're not getting their share of attention, but I do think they feel a bit overshadowed. So we're just trying to make sure that we highlight. And my Feng Shui expert was telling me that it's actually the year of the woman till the young woman till 2023.
Well, that's
so
good
I want to.
I hope everyone's paying attention.
Yeah, so I want to exploit that.
Yeah.
So if you're a young woman out there, and these are your next 2 years. Yeah, these are your next 2 years. So I want to try and instill that culture, because my own daughter's coming into the business. So I don't want her to be, less. I don't want her to be a minority in the company, in the senior leadership teams. So we're just trying to make sure we emphasize on that.
Now, you're a mom of 3. How do you balance being a boss at home and a boss at work?
Oh, boss at home's really easy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, boss at home's really easy. I think it kind of like boss at work is what extends into being boss at home.
Oh.
So I don't think being boss is a problem. It's just keeping my sort of senses around me, because I have a 22, a 14, and a 7. So I go from discussing boyfriend/marriage to discussing whatever the new TikTok video is, to then discussing Jurassic World or dinosaurs or any of that. So that's what I think takes a toll.
Well, indirectly, I think they're your consumers, because a lot of your brands are millennial brands, and they're probably your best source of
information. Yeah, definitely. They're really great. I mean, both my girls, the 22 and the 14, have already dived into business, which is what I love. I think immersing your kids early on is the way to make sure that they understand what you do and why you do it. So definitely, I mean, and I always used to joke, I used to say if there was a marketing survey out there for moms, I would apply to all 3 brackets. Like, there isn't a bracket that I can't apply to.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, I think you mentioned, just right now, about just you working. I think you are a great example and mentor of a working mom that seems to juggle it all. And so are you very much you have really good time management? You must have.
I someone else asked me this, and I said, honestly, it's not that I'm very good at time management. I'm a control freak. So hence I become better at managing my time, because I'm very much one of those who wants to know what my son is going to wear to the next birthday party, or what my daughter's doing with herself. So I am a bit of a control freak, and that then sort of lends itself to managing time a little better, because I obviously can't wake up in the morning and do things last minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, based on that.
And what would be your advice for women who are working moms?
I've said this before in my other interviews. I just think the biggest issue women have today is that we're trying to prove so many things. We're trying to prove that we're great businesswomen, that we're great mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, all of it. And I just think, like, take a chill pill. Do a role at a time. Some of you might say, oh, but I don't have a choice to do that. That's fine. But just don't. I think the biggest problem with us today is we fall into that guilt trap. We feel that, if I don't make freshly baked cupcakes for the bake sale at school, I'm a bad mom. Honestly, you're not. Like, you're trying to do the best you can. Buy them. Spinneys has them. Buy them.
Delegate.
Buy them. Like, I just think it's unfair to think that you're not good enough at the roles that you do play. I think if you can play all of them to your best and still keep your sanity, you're ahead of the game. So I think enlisting support as well from your extended family. I don't think we should be shy. Like, I ask, my father-in-law in the past has gone to sports days for my kids. And it's been amazing for them. It's been amazing for him.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm depriving them of my attention. In fact, I'm adding to them their from their grandparents, attention from their grandparents. So I just think, like, just taking a step back and saying, okay, I'll do the best I can, and I'll prioritize, and let me see what comes of it.
And so, do you take work home?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I take work home. My husband brings his work home, and then the kids help us out when they can. There are times where I can't open Google Drives or I can't open Dropboxes, and my kids will sit with me and say, Mom, okay, we'll do this for you. So yeah, I take work home all the time, and it's not an issue. And when you're an entrepreneur and it's your own business, you don't really have a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
It just never ends.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you're answering calls at 11 p.m. or you're doing Zoom calls at 11 p.m. It just happens. So, and it's fine. It's part and parcel.
And we've just experienced COVID. I don't know anyone, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know anyone who is prepared for what happened globally. What are some of the lessons you personally and as a company learned?
So I think our biggest lesson was that, we had this coming. We have been talking about our e-commerce, and obviously this gave us the perfect opportunity to channel all our energies, attention, and focus towards it. It's sixthstreet.com. And we just went all out. Like, Nilesh now with my daughter has done over 24 tech calls. He's done them with our principals, he's done them with tech companies around the world. And just to figure out what it is that we're lacking and how can we accentuate that seamless customer experience, So honestly, one of the lessons that we learned was that when you see a trend, don't just sit back and say, oh, this isn't going to happen to me, I don't really need this. Try and understand where disruption is coming from in the business, because we knew this was coming.
Right.
We just didn't take it seriously enough, but now we do. And we are so grateful that we had the platform, whereas a lot of companies are now trying to develop a platform. So we're ahead of the game anyway. But I think also the other lesson that I personally learned was that I can't control everything. Like I mentioned, I'm a control freak. And I learned that I actually have no idea. The uncertainty was honestly causing, because you're a friend, I can tell you, and probably you guys out there, it was causing so much anxiety because you have no control over what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. How do you deal with this? How do you get on with life? And, we were all treating it as a temporary holiday, whereas now it's hit us after 3 months that this is the new norm. This is the new reality. But there are lots of positives to come out of this as well. Like the amount of family bonding everybody's done, the amount of, understanding that my kids don't really know how to write well or spell the word there in school. Lots of things have come out of this, which is great. I mean, the whole schooling system. Yeah. Everybody's rethinking, do I really need my kids to go to a brick and mortar school? Yeah. So I think there's been a lot of lessons and of course shifts. And I think if you haven't shifted at this time, what are you waiting for? Yeah. You've got to make this one work. Like they say, right? Never waste a good crisis.
Of course.
So I think that's the biggest lesson we've learned.
I love that. And you survived homeschooling?
It's so funny. So the first...
Well, I'm asking because you have it at different ages.
Yeah.
It's not just
I appreciate that. So let me tell you my experience. It was so hilarious. So I have my teams here and they know this. I don't do things, I don't do shortcuts and I don't do anything without giving it 120%. So when my 7-year-old gets a project and he has to do something, a rainforest, and I took it upon myself. I did YouTube videos and we went through encyclopedias. I can write a thesis now on every snake in the rainforest. And it took us 2 days to come up with this. And we kept doing this for 2 weeks where everything we did was so intense and it would take us 6 to 7 hours to finish online learning. One day I had to go out for a meeting. So I asked my 14-year-old that, can you sit with him and figure this out? And she sat with him and they were done in 2 hours. And I was like, what the hell? I've been devoting 6 hours of my life. How the hell did you get this done? How did you get this done in 2 hours? And she's like, Mom, it's about managing expectations, right? It's about knowing how much to give where. Yeah. So he didn't need to have a thesis done on every snake in the rainforest. But of course, I saw it from my perspective. Yeah. So, that's been my biggest learning as well, that don't do things based on how you think they need to be done. Actually do them based on, like you would say, what your customer expects or what your brand principal or partner expects. So I think that's also been a big learning for us.
Having just over 16,000 employees. You've done something right. So your company culture has to be exciting and interesting and motivating. What is the secret at Apparel Group?
I honestly think we've come a long way, so because we're hands-on entrepreneurs, of course, I mean, we expect everyone to have direct access to us. We get everyone to report to us. If you walk by our offices, nobody has any rooms, nobody has doors, nobody has cubicles. I mean, nobody has like closed and closed spaces. Everyone's open. You can see everybody's desks. And Nilesh loves it that way. And we even have standing conference rooms. So we don't allow people to sit and waste time and just do 2-hour-long meetings when the actual gist of it can be done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So, we are about, but we're also about making sure that employees feel like they're working at a great place. So we have like the pool table, we have Tim Hortons, the canteen, where, employees eat for free. So all of that, I mean, I just feel like we do want to create a culture where people feel they are taken care of, because honestly, they are our number one priority.
Of course, and they are your ambassadors.
Exactly, right? And they are our front facers to, or our front line to the customers. So if they're not happy, it's going to translate into not being able to satisfy a customer. So that's the most important thing for us.
Now, you are the HR expert. What are you looking for when you're looking at, because I feel like now you have, well, what's happened, I mean, just globally, is so many people have lost their jobs. You have an incredible population of youth who have now graduated university and there's no jobs for them. How is someone going to apply and stand out to you?
Please email me directly. It's Sima, S-I-M-A, @appareluae.com. Honestly, we're looking for all of them. We believe in a really strong work ethic, and we believe in hard work. So if someone comes to me and says, so what are the timings, or, what about weekends, or what about public holidays, you're out the door.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't work for us. In retail, it is 24/7, especially marketing. Marketing, there's no concept of when, my team's here, they'll tell you they've spent nights at the site setting things up for press days, etc., etc. So for me, it's a really strong work ethic is the first thing. And the second thing is we're very much about being entrepreneurial. So it doesn't have to be people want to just come and work for us. They can even actually come and tell us an idea that they have, and we might be able to fund them or support them and say, okay, fine. So we're always looking for entrepreneurs. And right now, because we're immersing ourselves into this whole tech world with sixthstreet.com or with other apps that we're creating, not to give anything away, we are looking for the younger generation. And in fact, for us, fresh out of college is even better.
So innovative ideas,
yes,
hard work, discipline,
yes,
then you can apply.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for.
Yes, definitely.
And going forward, the word marketer, marketing executive, I mean, that has changed. There's no such thing. There's a real 360 approach. What is your point of view on the world of marketing, since this is your area?
So I think it's taken a complete shift. It's no longer about, I'm offline, or I'm online, or I'm social media, or I'm digital, or literally you have to be able to do it all. So if you're not qualified to do it all, you're going to find it hard to find a good job. And I think at this time, a lot of people have actually done the smart thing where they've gone and done a lot of digital courses online that were available from some incredible universities. Like I know there's one from Columbia on digital marketing, and I think it's free. So why would you not want to expand your own capability mentally, or even just learn something like a new skill set? We probably might do it as well. Like Nilesh is already doing one, and I might join my daughter in doing this one.
That's amazing, and I really wanted to highlight that at every level in your corporation, right from Nilesh Ved, the big boss, right down to every stage in the company. It's constant learning and constant investment from your side as well.
Yes.
But you as an employee have to really give your 100% and want to learn and want to grow as well.
Because it's like that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Yeah. But I mean, it's going to rain before you see that rainbow. Yeah. So same thing, like you're going to go through a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hard work, and a lot of years where you feel like, am I really doing this for the right reasons? But then when you hit that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you did. So.
Well, that's a wonderful tip. And she's given you her email as well. So get your
Yes, please
CVs
do.
in and get some innovative ideas across as well to them. Let's talk about the success of brands, because you have 75 international brands in your portfolio. What is the secret to success when brands are coming into the Middle East and India as well, because you have businesses in 14
Yes.
countries. So when it comes from a homegrown, from their kind of original home, whether it's US or Canada or wherever, and then they come here, how have you guys been able, as a company, as Apparel Group, been able to really convert that into success?
I think we are so attractive to them as a company because be it shoes, be it clothes, be it F&B, we can really offer not just opinions, it's data driven. So we can actually offer them solid evidence as to what works and what doesn't. So, whether it's from wanting to sell a pink Charles & Keith shoe to selling, I don't know, a yellow bag at Dune, we can actually tell them what would work and what wouldn't. Of course, we take risks. Of course, we experiment. But I think for us, the fact that we can share our Middle Eastern culture with them really goes a long way. Like Skechers, Skechers was doing shoes which were completely devoid of stitching, and those shoes are what a lot of people bought to wear to Hajj, because you're not allowed to wear anything that has stitching on it. So, or with Inglot, when we personalize and customize palettes, or even the embossing or the personalization. So even when we tell some of our brands of the kind of footwear that Arabs prefer to wear under their dishtashas, that also goes a long way for them. And some of them are very happy to receive the feedback and make changes. So I think brands love the opportunity to partner with us, to be honest.
Of course, because they're understanding their clientele in this part of the region, and that intel is only going to come from a principal like Apparel Group.
From a partner, yeah. From a partner like us. Yeah, that's true.
That's amazing. Well, before we end, what are three pieces of advice you can share?
As a mom or as a vice-chairperson?
I think a little bit of everything. I mean, what is your secret to success?
So I think my secret to success, like I said, number one is having married the right guy.
That's a good one. I'm
Definitely.
I love this. You better
Definitely.
send flowers to her tomorrow.
So I think, you need to have that right partner in your life who's going to help you grow, who's going to sort of share with you and understand you, but at the same time give you the space. So I think if you have someone who is forever trying to tell you what you're doing is wrong, got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So, no. So yeah, and every crazy idea I've had, he said to me, fine, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Sometimes that's not a great thing, but yeah, most of the time it's worked. So I think if you partner with the right person, I think also for me, like I said, I grew up with this whole mindset of family. So I think if you can keep your extended family close, it really helps. It really helps, So for me, marry the right person or have the right partner in your life, keep your extended family close. Immerse your kids, lead by example. So, if people say, oh, my kids don't have a drive, they don't understand what hard work is, that's because you haven't bothered to let them in. So if you actually let them in and say, look, this is what you need to do, this is what life is about, blah, 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 I think they will pick it up. So
I love that, actually. Those are amazing tips. I want to highlight that. I hope we got everything.
But I think professionally as well, sorry, Rosemin, professionally as well, it's really important to always be ready to learn. Like I said, the courses that we put out, the courses that we agree to do, just so that we can increase our own knowledge and our own aptitude about certain things, same way we expect our employees to do the same. You can't ever in our organization say, I know this or I know it all, because there's always something new to learn.
Right.
So I think if you continuously grow and do it through learning, there's no way you're going to be held back from success.
I love that. What a perfect way to start our summer season. I am so happy you're here.
Thank you.
And I want to add, the power of a mentor, because I know your father is just an incredible incredible leader, and he's been such an incredible mentor, not only to you and your brother, but to so many people in this country. So very lucky to have a mentor. And please follow Sima Ved and Apparel Group on Instagram. And of course, they have so many activations happening, and we're so proud that you have shared your words of wisdom with us today. I'm not going to let you go just yet, because I want to know, you know, here at Indigo Living, our motto is living beautifully. So what does that mean to you?
I think to me, I have to say, I experienced the best living now during COVID. I think being able to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner as a family, all 5 of us, it pushed us. It pushed us out of our comfort zone, because we're in each other's spaces all the time. But I think honestly, if I could redo, I would just redo that without the stress and anxiety and the uncertainty. So for me, good living, as you say, is about having those that you love around you. Whether you're happy, sad, irritated, angry, as long as they're around you, you can figure it out.
I love that.
So
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And a big thank you for all of you for joining us on Indigo Living's, I want to say on the couch series, but I just got an upgraded set. So thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions, get them in. I'll make sure Sima answers any additional words of wisdom. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.